The week starting April 28, 2025 marks one of the most critical earning periods of the year. Over 180 S&P 500 companies are set to release quarterly results, covering more than 40% of the index's total market capitalization. This is not just an earnings week, it's also a litmus test for the health of corporate America amid slowing economic growth, stubborn inflation, and intensifying geopolitical tensions, especially with China and Europe. This video will explore the most critical companies reporting, their projected performance, underlying risks, and what I expect from this pivotal week in the stock market. Significant earnings to watch. We start with Apple. Report date is May 2nd after hours. The revenue estimate is $94 billion with an EPS estimate of 1.61. Some key topics to look for is the iPhone 15 cycle momentum, services revenue resilience, China sales especially after new tariffs, and the Vision Pro updates and AI features. Apple's services division will likely remain bright, growing in high single digits despite device sales moderating. However, I expect hardware's, iPhones and Macs sales to underwhelm, pressured by high prices and weaker Chinese demand due to tariffs. The stock may see volatility post-earnings if forward guidance is cautious. 2. Microsoft Corporation. The report date being April 30th and the revenue estimate being $68.4 billion with an EPS estimate of $3.21. Some key topics to consider is Azure cloud growth, AI monetization, and enterprise IT budget amid recession fears. Azure will likely post solid 30% plus growth, but all eyes are on Copilot subscription adoption. If they show meaningful early revenues from AI services, MSFT Microsoft stock could rally significantly due to AI tailwinds. I'm optimistic that Microsoft will beat expectations and guide firmly. Next, we look at Alphabet, Google. Alphabet have already reported stronger than expected Q1 earnings just last week, mainly driven by Google Cloud finally achieving profitability. CapEx guidance $75 billion plus signals continued heavy AI investments. This is a stock that I discussed in my other video of the top 5 stocks to buy during the market downturn, and market sentiments towards Apple is now very positive. I expect analysts to upgrade price targets this week, keeping the stock buoyant unless macro headlines turn negative. Next, look at Amazon. The report date being May 2nd with a revenue estimate of $150 billion with an EPS estimate of 1.12. Key topics include AWS cloud growth slowing, cost cuts and operational efficiency, and advertising revenue strength. Amazon is at a crossroads. AWS growth has decelerated to the low teens, worrying investors. However, e-commerce profitability improvements led by warehouse automation and booming ad sales could offset cloud weakness. I expect a mixed but slightly positive report, with the real driver is how bullish management sounds about H2 2025. Next, we look at Meta. The report date being April 30th with the revenue estimate of $41.4 billion, an EPS estimate of $5.25. Some key topics to consider is rebound in ad spending, progress on metaverse cost controls, and AI personalization features for advertisers. Meta's recovery is real. Expect strong top-line growth of nearly 25%. However, investors will focus on whether Reality Labs shows shrinking losses. I am very bullish on Meta's AI advertising personalization tools, which give them a competitive advantage over TikTok. Some other key earnings to consider is McDonald's, watching for resilience in global comps amid slowing US consumer demand. Also Visa and MasterCard, key barometers for consumer spending strength worldwide. Also PayPal, the market expects muted revenue growth and needs strong guidance to recover stock momentum. Coca-Cola and PepsiCo, important to assess how inflation and FX rates impact consumer staples. Some other broader market expectations to watch is Q1 GDP likely near 1%, risk of technical recession if it surprises lower, and also PCE inflation, core inflation stickiness could scare the bond market, and April jobs report recession fears could spike if unemployment ticks up faster than expected. I believe big tech, Microsoft, Amazon, Apple, Meta will deliver better than feared results, mainly because of AI-driven optimism and cost controls. Consumer sectors, McDonald's and Coca-Cola, will show weakening margins as inflation and slowing consumer spending bite. Financial companies such as Visa, MasterCard, PayPal will reveal a divergence. Strong cross-culture and travel spending, but weakness in discretionary retail categories. I think the market reaction will be highly polarized, with winners like Microsoft and Meta will rally strongly, while companies that even slightly miss expectations like PayPal will be punished severely. Some risks I see is Microsoft's Azure growth of greater than 28% year on year misses badly, and tech sentiment could unravel. And in Friday's PCE report, sticky inflation could trigger bond yield spikes, hurting valuations. And also, of course, geopolitical surprises. The further tariffs on China or conflict in the Taiwan Strait could create additional volatility. I expect the Nasdaq 100 to remain volatile, but trend higher if Microsoft, Meta, and Amazon deliver decent results. However, any macro shock like hot inflation or bad jobs data could flip sentiment quickly. I think this is a week for caution and not greed. Risk management is essential. It tightens stops, consider partial profits taking on earnings, and stay selective, and focus on quality names and ignore the noise. This week is not just about earnings numbers, it is a major psychological test for the entire market. We will learn if the AI-driven hope rally has real legs or if the cracks underneath the surface will widen. But one thing is clear, by the end of this week, the stock market narrative for the next few months will be completely reshaped, and be ready. Thank you for watching and hope you enjoyed. Here are some other videos as well if you are curious, and I hope you have a good rest of your day. What stocks are you particularly looking at this earnings week? Thank you for watching, and I'll catch you next time. Bye bye!